assist us.
And then after migrating to the UK, I have done my CMI in strategic management and leadership practice. I've been working as a professional CV writer for some time now. And then right now, I am also working as the head of human resources in a group of schools in London. So I've been in this industry for some time. So I'm happy to kind of share my insights with all of you today.
Right, great. So what we'll do is we'll take some questions I'll ask you a few questions, 𝐻𝐸𝐿, and then what we can do is we can just, keep asking questions from each other. And then if we come across any questions from any of the candidates, we can do that as well. We can answer their questions. And obviously, the reason why we are doing this live is for you to ask questions. If you have any questions, or even while we're talking, if you have any questions, you can just type them on Facebook or YouTube, and then we can start from there. Okay, right. So 𝐻𝐸𝐿, why do you think CV writing and LinkedIn optimizations are such it has become very important nowadays. So why do you think CV writing and LinkedIn optimization are quite important to get a job?
Yeah. So as you all know, a CV, or we call it a resume sometimes, that is like the first impression you will give to anyone where you apply for a job. Specifically, if you're applying for a job in the UK, you will always apply through a CV along with a cover letter sometimes. So that's like the first impression you will give to a recruiter or a company or an employer. So because these are the tools that get you noticed, especially in the UK, your CV often goes through an ATS system. You call it an applicant tracking system. And your LinkedIn is where recruiters are actively hunting for talent nowadays. And it's not like going to be a job application you post, like it's all digital. So if these are not strong, and you could be a perfect candidate for any kind of a job, but then it will never get seen. So, and then exactly why so many people come to us for professional support is because a CV and your LinkedIn profile should be very much strong enough for you to be successful in a job hunt. So I think that's like one of the biggest reasons why you need to have your CV and LinkedIn optimized so that you will be noticed by recruiters.
Right. And also, when it comes to these CVs, mostly a common mistake that most of the candidates are doing is they have lengthy CVs, right? So when it comes to the number of pages of a CV, what do you think would be the best number, or do you think it should you should try and keep it for 1 page or 2 pages?
Okay, so let me answer this question like this, right? So best is to keep it to 1 page because it should be simple as much as it can be, but it depends based on what kind of a role you're applying for. Like, for example, let's say you're applying for a job in the corporate sector, maybe as for a HR manager role, or maybe for an administration role, or maybe to be in the healthcare industry or whatever. But then it can be a 1-page CV, but maximum it can go up to 2 if you have a lot of training, certifications, or qualifications that you have done. So it can be maximum 2 pages, but 1 is preferred. But if you're applying for a job which is in academia, or maybe a lecturer position, or maybe into research or something like that, then obviously you'll have a lot of things that you need to showcase in your CV, like your publications, your research articles that you have published, there's a lot. So in that case, it will be lengthier. It will be longer than a generic normal CV. So it depends on the role or the industry you are in. So I've had clients before who once wanted to apply for research positions like in academics and also in corporate as well. So the same CV cannot be used for both jobs, even if it's the same person. So the CV has to be customized based on where and what you want. So it depends.
Yeah, that's right. So like the candidate that you were mentioning, I remember about that candidate as well. So what we had to do was we had to get 2 CVs prepared for this person. One to showcase their academics, and then the other one for their professional qualifications.
Yeah.
Right. So so when it comes to these CVs, and the other thing is most of the times what candidates usually a common thing that they say is, I've applied for about 100 jobs, but I haven't been able to secure a single job, right? Mm-hmm. So this is something that we hear quite often, right, 𝐻𝐬𝐻𝐿? Yes. So what can you say about this? How would you answer to that question?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question that we need to answer for everyone, because this is something that we hear on a daily basis, I'd say. So when we ask to send us their CVs, these candidates, they've been using the same CV for basically every single job that they've applied. And then most of the CVs, like 9 times out of 10, it's completely or like inappropriate for the role that they have applied. Either it's overloaded with too much irrelevant information, or either it's like missing the critical information recruiters really need to see. So often it lists everything someone has ever done since the day they've left school, and it doesn't really showcase what is exactly relevant to the role that you're applying for. So instead of tailoring it, it's very difficult for you to be shortlisted for a job. So it doesn't reframe the experience to match the role you're applying for. And the thing is, you need to speak, or you need to kind of showcase the language the recruiters are speaking or that they're using. So that's basically keywords. Like, if you're applying for a certain job, you need to make sure those keywords in the job advertisement is also mentioned in your CV. So it really depends. And you can't use the same CV. If you take 10 different job openings, you can't use the same CV for all those 10 job openings. So that's something that our candidates miss. That's where they miss their point. So I think that's something we need to really look at.
Yeah, it's not that candidates are not qualified. It's just that they do not showcase their experience, their expertise, and also their qualifications in a CV, right? So when it comes to these CVs, the issue that they have is either their format is wrong, or they put too much information in there, which is irrelevant, right? So those are the common things that we come across. And for an example, we have got plenty of accountants who are looking for full-time roles, not even work permits. They're looking for full-time roles. But then again, they're really disappointed that they do not land on their dream jobs. And some of them have about 10, 15 years experiences. Some of them are SEMA qualified. Some of them are, chartered accountants. Still, they're struggling to find these job roles. So it's mainly because that they're not presenting their CVs properly. So what can we do with candidates like that, 𝐻𝐫𝐿?
Yeah, so exactly, I agree with you 100%. So many are actually really great candidates. They do have all the skills and knowledge, understanding they needed to have, but their CV sometimes confuses the recruiter. They like that doesn't show achievements specifically in the UK. They're not looking for your day-to-day job role on the CV, like what you do from 9 to 5 every single day at office. Like you don't need to list down your job responsibilities that you do on a daily basis. What a recruiter in the UK is looking for is your achievements, basically. So that is something we really miss in CVs, and it is not aligned with the job description that the advertisement shows, right? And in today's UK job market, that means you're invisible, simply. So, which is
what should we do differently about it, 𝐻𝐫𝐿, what do you think?
Yeah, so what we need to do is we need to tailor your CV based on the job advertisement. Plus, you need to make sure you focus more on achievements rather than job descriptions, right? And then the other thing is, I wanted to say that like sometimes when you migrate to a new country, you may have like loads of experience back home. It can be like 15 to 20 years of experience. You've been holding managerial positions back home, but then when you move into a complete different market, complete different location, sometimes there are instances where you have to start from scratch or maybe in a junior level, So now let me give you an example. So if I wanted to migrate to the UK and I have been an HR manager back home, and then if I wanted an HR career, I want to start my HR career in the UK, I can't be applying for an HR assistant position, showcasing in my CV that I have been an HR manager back in Sri Lanka, simply as such, because that itself is going to be a threat to the recruiter himself. So like you need to be very mindful when you're showcasing in your CV, like you may have the most experience, even more than the person who is interviewing you. But then you also need to be mindful that how you need to give that first impression, and then you performing in that company after you join and then get into the next level is a different story. But the stepping stone will have to be very mindful.
Yeah, that's right. And it's not just a story. It's actually, we have experienced that, and we have had a few instances where even though we try to tell this to these candidates, they're not happy to back down. And they're like, look, I have been in this, I have been there, I've done that. So I don't want to apply as an assistant, showing them that I haven't done that role. Or the thing is, what 𝐻𝐿 is trying to say is, yes, obviously you have worked as a manager, but in order to get that position, you shouldn't be a threat to the person who's interviewing you, because obviously most of the times managers will be interviewing you, right? So in a case like that, what you got to do is you got to just, take your guard down and then start from there. And all what you got to do is you got to be confident in yourself, right? I'm going to start from here, but after maybe certain years, I'm going to reach out to the point where I want to, right? But still, you got to get a start from somewhere. And you got to, in order to start, you need to get an opportunity. So to create that opportunity, you might have to lower yourself down a bit. But it doesn't mean that you're putting yourself down. It's just that you are giving yourself a chance to learn about the UK market, to learn about how these cultures work, because that will be quite different from Sri Lankan market as well, or any other, markets as well. We are talking about, people who are coming into the country from, other countries, but obviously, you need to make sure that you need to give yourself a chance, right? And also, when it comes to, let's talk about the fundamentals of CV writing. And also when it comes to CVs, according to Indeed's 2024 research, right? They take only up to like, I mean, an employer takes only up to like 7 seconds to read a CV. Is that right, Tejhanvi? Right?
Yes. Yeah.
They use their ATS systems, right? And then there are screening tools. They customize these screening tools. And I'll tell about customizing screening tools a bit later. Let me tell you about the stats. So when it comes to LinkedIn profiles, if you have a professional picture on your LinkedIn, according to Total Jobs 2024 research, that mentioned you get 14 times better views if you have a professional picture. And also you get 40 times better views and job offers if you have a proper description on your LinkedIn profile, right? So these are very important things, and Total Jobs and Indeed are doing really well in the UK, and they are the main areas, they are the main job boards that you can apply through, right? So if their researchers say that, we got to take that into our considerations, right? So when it comes to these screening tools, okay, how does it work? Let's say you want to apply for an engineering post, or let's say, for an example, you want to work as a carer, right? So sometimes your CV, you have tailored it according to a domiciliary care, but you're applying for care homes, or could be vice versa, right? So they have customized these screening tools. So what they do is they configure these screening tools according to their requirements. They customize it basically, right? So if you're, if you're tailored your CV to align with a, let's say, domiciliary care position, you can't apply with the same CV for a care position, because it might get rejected, because there are certain areas that they'll be looking at. Let's say sometimes you have just tailored it to say that, okay, you have just assisted medication, for an example, but at that care home, they're asking about administering medication. If you do not have that, if you have just put assist instead of administer, that is a disadvantage as well. You could be a nurse back home, and you haven't put much effort to put all that into consideration and tailor your CV. So like that, there'll be minor adjustments that you got to do when you're applying from one job to another. And mostly in care jobs, you might look, when you look at these job descriptions, you might find it quite similar, but it's not. You'll have to, even your cover letters, when it comes to your cover letters, you might have done a cover letter saying, okay, I'd like to apply for this position in this domiciliary care place, right? And then eventually it could be a care home that you're applying, and then you might send it with that. And then when they look at it, okay, this person hasn't even been bothered to change this to a domiciliary care setting, right? Sorry, to a care home setting, because they have done that for a domiciliary care place, right? So likewise, those little things matters quite a lot as well, isn't it, Tejhanvi?
Of course, yeah. And one thing I wanted to add on to this is, like you said, because most of the companies are using the applicant tracking system, the ATS, that is the exact reason why we should focus on the layout, the keywords, and the impact, that matters so much. A lot of clients try to do it themselves sometimes, and then they get rejected repeatedly sometimes, and then they realize maybe a professional review would be beneficial, So that's where we restructure into that 7 seconds work in their favor. So that's something that we've done for most of our clients so far. And then suddenly they started getting calls. So which is nice to see. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. We have had a few, examples like that as well.
Yeah.
And also, when it comes to career switches, because obviously we obviously we come across a lot of people who have come here, and they're from different backgrounds. Common backgrounds are they are from IT backgrounds, accountancy backgrounds. Some of them even have been bank managers, but still, as there are less options to apply for jobs because they have been struggling to get some professional jobs, and also most of the places do not offer work permits, so there are issues like that as well. So they might have to go for a career switch, right? They could go into care, they might go into financial trading side, or they might some of them might even go into teaching, let's say nursery practitioners likewise, right?
Yeah.
So in a situation like that, they'll have to go for a career switch. And what if someone doesn't have direct experience in a case like that, and they might have to go for a CV, different CV, which will be related to the job title that they're applying for. So how do we tackle this situation? What do we have to do in a situation like that, 𝐁𝐵?
Yeah, so as you know, like the majority of the clients that we get, they're kind of moving into tech or like healthcare or education from a complete different industry with their previous experience, right? So what we highlight here is the transferable skills, what you call transferable skills, and we reframe their past roles, the experience that they have, but we reframe it to be relevant to the new industry that they're going to step into. So, and the position, and that position them confidently because it's a complete new sector, but then you also make sure that your previous skills can be transferable to what you're going to do in the future. And it's very hard to do this yourself because sometimes most of the candidates, they don't really understand a recruiter's perspective. But because we've had have been doing and conducting interviews back to back on a daily basis, we know exactly what a recruiter is looking for, even though they do not have previous experience in the same industry. But if you have similar skills and experience you have used in previous roles, but it can be a different industry, but you can still reframe it to be relevant to your new industry that you're going to switch to. So that is something that we have come across in a lot of instances. And my answer for that is to highlight your transferable skills.
Yeah, I think about 90% of the CVs that we receive are for career switches. And because of that particular reason, we have created a package for that. It's called Career Switch Package, where we will be providing you a roadmap along with building your confidence and gathering your information to do that. And also we will be doing career building programs, and then we will be doing interview preparations, mock interview preparations. Basically, we will discuss about all that in a short while. We'll come to that. So 𝐻𝐵, what we'll do is we'll take some time and we'll specifically discuss about that, so then they can get a better understanding of why these things are important, right? So let's go back to LinkedIn optimization. As I said to you, having a professional profile picture on LinkedIn, right? It matters quite a lot. And also having a proper description with proper keywords, it matters quite a lot as well, right? So why do you think this LinkedIn is so powerful?
Okay, so let me start like this now. Being a recruiter myself, I know recruiters in the UK, they basically live on LinkedIn on a daily basis. So in fact, many jobs are not even advertised on any platform. They're filled by headhunting. So what they do is, so there's something called LinkedIn Recruiter. That's a tailored platform for employers and recruiters who are looking for the right candidate on a daily basis. So that's not the LinkedIn profiles that we see on a general LinkedIn account that we have. So a personal LinkedIn profile that you see on LinkedIn at this point of time is completely different from the LinkedIn Recruiter platform, right? So how it works is like if you, I'm sure you've seen about digital marketing. When you are doing digital marketing, there's something called SEO, search engine optimization, right? What happens in search engine optimization is that when you search on something, maybe on Google, there is a list of search results that comes to the first page of your search results. So similarly, on LinkedIn Recruiter, if I want to look for, let's say, a qualified teacher in the UK, in London, I can just search the exact search result that I want to get. Like maybe, let's say, for example, I'm going to search for a QTS qualified teacher in London. So I just use the filters on there, location London, trainings or qualifications QTS, and then the job title, all of that, and then I just search. So like the first few results that I get in the very first page in my search results are based on the keywords that candidates have put on their LinkedIn profiles. So this is what we do in the back end as recruiters, which the candidates may not be aware of, right? So this is why a LinkedIn profile is so powerful in hunting for jobs, because you need to, not only the LinkedIn profile is important, but the keywords that you use in your LinkedIn profile is also important. So they're filled by headhunting. Most of the recruiters fill their openings by headhunting. So your profile has to be optimized, otherwise you are invisible. So when we optimize profiles, clients often message us within like weeks saying, I didn't even apply, recruiters just approached me. You know, that's the power of LinkedIn, because like you don't need to apply yourself. Sometimes when your LinkedIn profile is perfectly optimized, recruiters come to you. They will just reach out to you on LinkedIn Recruiter and say, like, you know, I'm looking for this person and seems like you are a perfect candidate for this. Are you interested? So that has happened to us as well, for our clients as well, in numerous times. So having your LinkedIn profile optimized is very important, especially in the UK.
That's right. So the main reason why we wanted to do a live today is that, Johnny, obviously, as you know, we wanted to explain this to our candidates
Yes.
on a live broadcast, because most of the times when you look at someone's LinkedIn and look at yours, you might not see much of a difference. You'd be like, oh, I have the same things that this person had, so why didn't I get a job? Right? So that's how you'd go about it. But these are the little things that you got to concentrate on. And these are the little things that you might have missed. And as 𝐻𝐫𝐿𝐲 mentioned, recruiters' LinkedIn and the LinkedIn that you see are completely different. And if you have an idea about SEO, you know how SEO works, and it builds up over time. And obviously, when it comes to that, it works on the keywords. So, I mean, if you optimize your websites with the right keywords, you'll be there. You'll see the results. So just like that, when it comes to your LinkedIn also, you got to make sure that you have the right keywords and you'll be there. And that's something we can definitely help you with. And we wanted to make sure that we tell that to you in public and give you this idea. So then there's something for you to think about, right? These are the little things that not everyone mentioned. And also, obviously, if you just give us a call and ask about all this, and we might miss out to give you a descriptive answer, right? Because that wouldn't be your question. So these are the things that wouldn't come up, right, 𝐻𝐫𝐿𝐲? So
Yeah.
this is the main reason why we wanted to do this and let you know about these little things that you got to work on. And as 𝐻𝐫𝐿𝐲 mentioned, that we are here to help you with all these things. So so what are the simple things that we can do, 𝐻𝐫𝐿𝐲, to attract these recruiters? But you have already given the answer as well, what we got to do. But let's go back to that, and then let's tell in few words, so then they would have that idea in their heads. So what do they have to do differently to get this attraction of the recruiters to come behind them, rather than running behind these jobs and recruiters?
Yeah. So what we need to understand first is, like, you can't really copy and paste your CV on your LinkedIn profile. So that is also different. The way you write your CV is completely different from how you pitch yourself or market yourself on LinkedIn. So starting from the headline, your about section on your profile, you know, there is a way you need to write it. You can't write a CV on your LinkedIn profile. So we need to rewrite it like a marketing pitch, basically, to position yourself in front of the right recruiter. So that is why so many of our clients outsource this to us, because, you know, once you're done with it properly, opportunities start finding you. So like the difference is that you can't just copy and paste your CV onto your LinkedIn profile. It has to be optimized with the keywords, plus your headline, your about section. They need to be short, but very precise on what you really want in your career. So it's basically not a CV, it's a marketing pitch.
Yeah, that's right. So I think you got your answer there. And 𝐻𝐫𝐻𝐿𝐵, let's go back to UK's market specifics, right? So when it comes to these UK CVs, right, is there anything unique about these CVs when you're preparing your CV or, you know, altering your CV? Is there anything unique about these UK market specific CVs?
Yes, Tarisha. So one thing is 2 pages maximum. That is something that I have seen in common in the UK. And then you don't use, even if it's professional, you don't use any pictures or photos on your CV. And no personal details like your date of birth or your marital status or your nationality. You don't use any of them. And beyond the format, it's about strategy. Like we know exactly how to align a CV with what a UK employer want to see, you know. So we've seen how these dramatical increases have happened in interview callbacks. So like it's basically sometimes not using your job role or your responsibilities, but your achievements, things like that are very common and unique in the UK compared to other CV formats and versions in other countries.
Yeah, that's right. And also, if you guys have any questions that you want to ask, just shoot, and we are here to take those questions as well. But we'll be having a separate Q&A session at the end, right? And we will, you know, discuss about a few common questions that you may ask as well. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, just type them, and we are more than happy to take those questions and answer, right? That is why we are doing this. So then you can just get them cleared. And if you're ready to, so then you can just question yourself and ask, okay, if I get a job opportunity tomorrow, am I ready to apply? Have I got all these things ready, right? So if you haven't got those things ready, we are here to help you. And if there's anything that you want to clarify, you can just straight away, you know, just type those questions, and we are happy to take those questions. Okay. Right. So moving on to career coaching and mock interview preparations.
Yeah.
Right?
So when we talk about career coaching and mock interview preparations, Tarisha, if I ask you, like, why is career coaching so beneficial for a job seeker in today's competitive UK market? Why do you think that is so beneficial for us?
Right. Career coaching. So when it comes to career coaching, I should say it has, you know, been quite helpful for me as well when I was looking for jobs back then. And it's about when you're facing an interview, it's about your confidence, it's about how you approach them, and about your personality, right? So when it comes to this career coaching, it helps you to identify your strengths, work on your weaknesses, right? And it helps you to face an interview with confidence, right? And then it helps you to personalize your CVs, right? You might, when it comes to writing a CV, most of the times, okay, let's be honest. According to these AI and everything nowadays, right? If you have to write a CV, what would you do? you would type your job role and say, okay, I want to get a job description for healthcare assistant, right? And you will go and type on ChatGPT or somewhere similar and say, okay, get me a job role, a job description for healthcare assistant, right? You will copy that and just paste in your CV, right? Would that be a personalized one? No. There's nothing personalized in that. And then the other thing is, when you're writing your cover letters, most of the times you got to make sure the language that you use in your cover letters matches your personal skills as well. This skill set matters quite a lot, right? Because when you're facing interviews, when you actually speak to this person, if you can't keep up with the skill level or the skill set that you have shown in your CVs, that is going to be an issue as well, right? So what we do is, when it comes to career building programs, what we do is we build confidence in people by offering clarity on these career pathways, right? We tell them where they need to stand, what they need to do, and there's a lot of homework to do. If you're applying for quite a good jobs, there's a lot of homework for you to do as well, right? So it will be beneficial for you to, let me put into a few words again, to build your confidence, right? To identify your path and work on them, and to do a SWOT analysis on yourselves, right? So those are the main reasons, 𝐻𝐫𝐻𝐿.
Yeah, exactly. So now, talking about career coaching and specifically interview preparations, whenever you get called for an interview, you always got to make sure that you are well prepared for the interview. So like the basic things that anyone would do is you go to the company's website, you do a bit of a research about the company that you're going for the interview for, and then you get ready for the interview, right? So how can a mock interview preparation improve a candidate's chances of landing their job? What do you think? What do you have to say there?
Right. So when it comes to mock interviews, it's very important because you always get a chance to practice, right?
Yeah.
So even when you're going for an exam, from like doing O levels, A levels, you had to always practice to go and write at the actual exam. And even for your before your actual exams, you might even have before your O levels, A levels, you always have mock exams. Why do you do that? You do that to get yourself prepared, right? So in order to get yourselves prepared to face a real interview, we give you the real interview setting, right? We give you the right questions that you may get, right interview preparation, which will help you to secure a job. Sometimes you might not see it as a real opportunity because you may feel like, okay, I've been doing this job for a long time, right? But if I ask you what safeguarding, you might not be able to answer straight away. What is prevents? What is radicalization? What is whistleblowing? What is abuse? How many types of abuse methods are there, right? How many can you tell? What is active listening? What is passive listening? Those are the little questions that you may forget. You might know about your job role, right? But those are the little things that you got to practice. And also you might come across scenario questions, right? About confidentiality. What would you do in a situation like this? How would you react, right? And also they might ask, what safeguarding? Who's your safeguarding officer? Who would you, if it's a safeguarding matter, who would you report it to? So those are little things that you got to always, the thing is, there'll be plenty of candidates applying for these jobs. You'll only get a slight edge to be on top of the other one. So you need to always make sure that you get that edge. So in order to do that, you got to practice, right? So what we do is we provide you constructive feedback on your answers, right? We help you to overcome these weaknesses, and we always highlight them and get you to work on those, right? So those are the things that helps you via mock interviews. And also it improves communication, body language, and also it helps you to reduce your nerves and improve performances. Those are the little things that we will be working on when it comes to interview preparations. And those mock interviews, there are plenty of candidates who have gone to jobs after mock interviews, and they have thanked multiple times to our juniors who are doing mock interviews mostly for these preparations. It really have helped them, because there are certain areas that you wouldn't think about. And when it comes to nursery practitioners job roles also, it has come to my light that they have been thanking our juniors quite a lot for having these mock interviews, because there are areas that they have completely missed. Right? You might think that you know everything, but then again, it's always good to be prepared. Right there, Johnny?
Yeah, I agree. And then one thing I wanted to add is that, when you're put on the spot, sometimes you know what you want to say, but you may not be giving the answer exactly how you wanted it to be, especially when you're not talking your own language, like ourselves, being immigrant to another country, So when you become proactive and you kind of anticipate, okay, what kind of questions can be asked if I am the recruiter, So then you get ready for those kind of possible questions, and then you can be more ready for the answer that you want to give. And the other thing is, in the UK, there are certain questions that any company would ask, regardless of the job role, which are relevant to the culture fit that you want to see in a candidate. So that's very much specific to the UK. So specifically the culture fit interview that any company would do, there are questions that you will be asked. And most of the immigrants specifically, they don't know how to answer those questions, and they think they've given the right answer, but that's not what the recruiter wants to hear. So those are like cultural barriers, because back home, we've not been asked those kind of questions, and we think about the answer based on our experience in our own culture. So those kind of things are very important, and sometimes it's not really your qualification or really your skills or expertise. It's because of the culture fit. Sometimes people get rejected from the final interview. So those are very important when you prepare for a interview, and a mock interview is very important from a professional.
Yeah, that's right. That's an answer from a professional who have been doing that for a while now. So obviously, that's a constructive answer that you got from there as well, actually. So and about the personalities, we need to discuss about that as well.
Yes. So I wanted to ask you that question, Parusha. So what do you
I wanted to give it to you, but okay.
No. You're the best person to answer this question, because I know you've been in the country for so long, and you've met a lot of professionals in different industries, and you've been an entrepreneur, and then, you have that whole 360 point of view. So what truly defines a great personality in an interview? What do you think?
Right. Okay, so before we go into that, so when it comes to, let's say, for an interview, you'd get two similar candidates who have pretty much the same skills. But what keeps you at the edge, or what gives you the edge, is your personality, right? Yeah. So this personality matters quite a lot. When it comes to personality, confidence and professionalism plays quite a big role in that, right? You should be able to express yourself well. You should be able to confident about what you're saying. Sometimes when you go to a job, you might not know the answer, but if you're confident in giving that answer, if you show confidence in your answer, they might be like, yes, I can consider that as well, because you said that with confidence. You need to tell them, you need to show them, you need to reflect yourself through your answers, right? So that is, confidence is quite important. And the other thing is communication. Communication plays quite a major role within an interview, right? First thing, when they're asking questions, you got to actively listen, right? There are two things about active and passive listening. So obviously, active listening plays a major role in here, right? And you got to always, when you're communicating, you got to provide engaging responses, right? You got to always show that you are engaged in a conversation, right? That is very important as well. And about your body language, you got to even though you're just confidence, if your body language doesn't say that, or if you're just frowning in front of them, or just shows like an unhappy person, that wouldn't work out as well, right? Your personality matters quite a lot. So all these things comes with practice, right? And then adaptability. You got to adapt according to the situation, and you should be able to get constructive criticism and also constructive feedback. You should be able to get that and change yourselves, right? And also you need to have a problem solving mindset. Critical thinking plays a major role in that, right? So you might get scenario questions, right? You should be able to demonstrate an initiative, and you got to use your critical thinking and provide an answer in that. So those little things plays quite a role in that. And also, as 𝐻𝐫𝐻𝐿 mentioned, cultural fit, right? You should be able to align yourselves with values that British culture values. It's not about what you value only. When you're living in a country where they have their own beliefs and values, you should start respecting them and then get adapted to that as well, right? So when it comes to work culture, there are certain values that we got to learn and also to follow. So, and also along with the company's policies, or you can call them ethos as well, right? So you got to make sure you get adapted to those. Otherwise, it will never be easy. So to do all these, what do you have to do? What do you have to have at the end? You got to have a positive attitude. If you have a positive attitude, you can always, work towards your goals. Let's say, for an example, yourself, when it comes to yourself, there are about, when you look at that job opportunity, you might come across about 6, 7, 8 negative areas where you think that you might not get the job. But out of all that, you might find just one positive area where you'd feel like, okay, if I follow this, if I do this, I will get that job. So instead of following all those 8, 9 negative thoughts, you got to concentrate on your positive thought. And I'll give you, I'll tell you why. Let's say you are trying to apply for this job and you have these negative thoughts in your mind. And even when you go to bed with those negative thoughts, thinking, oh, I might not get the job, or I don't have this, I don't have that. So that is the feeling that you take to bed. So you sleep on it. And on the next day, when you wake up, do you think you'd have a pleasant mind? No. But if you feel like, if you have that positive thought in your head, and if you go to sleep with that, okay, I want to get this job because I want this. Because of this specific reason, I need that. So when you wake up, you'll be all motivated. You'll be like, yes, I'm going to do that. Right? That is the feeling that you have in your head. You wouldn't even bother to think about all the other negative points that you had in your head. So this one positive thought would take you a long way. So positive attitude matters a lot. It combines with your confidence, right? So these are the little things that we got to always work on. These are the little things that we help you to develop when it comes to these career coaching programs, and also interview preparations and all that. Is that right, 𝐻𝐿?
Yeah, of course. Yes. So these qualities, like you mentioned, confidence, communication,
right.
positivity.
Let me cut to the chase, and let me put you on the spot there as well. So I discussed about all these points, right? So qualities like confidence, communication, positivity, ability to adapt, and teamwork. I didn't mention about teamwork, but it comes with teamwork as well. So problem solving, right? How do all these plays a role when it comes to getting a job?
Yeah, so let me go one by one.
Sorry to put you on the spot. Yeah.
It's okay. So if you talk about confidence, demonstrating confidence, obviously without arrogance, like you have to make it pleasant to the other side.
Yeah.
That reassures the interviewer that you believe in your abilities. and you can handle your responsibilities. Confidence that candidates present themselves, speak clearly, and they maintain good posture, and then answering the questions with self-assurance. Those are the things that would give like a positive impression to the recruiter when you're talking with confidence. That will be definitely a plus point in your interviews. And then moving on to communication, like you said, it has to be clear, concise, and well structured when you're giving your answers. It cannot be like messy, like all over the place, you know. And that's exactly why you need a preparation, like a mock interview, so that you can show that you can express yourself effectively and a skill valued in most roles in the UK. And active listening, you know, active listening and asking thoughtful questions also demonstrate strong communication. Not only how you answer, but like I'm sure everyone has experienced this, like when you're almost done with the interview, the recruiter asks, do you have any questions for me? And then that question itself gives an impression to the recruiter whether you're thoughtful about that question or whether you're really asking the question for the sake of asking it, right? So communication is not only answering the question, but also questioning the recruiter or the interviewer. That gives a judgment to the recruiter as well, the questions that you will ask the recruiter as well. Like if you just jump and ask, okay, what is the salary? You know, like those are the things that you get judged by an interviewer. So even if you want to know what the salary is, there's a way you have to like present it to the recruiter. So those are the things when it comes to communication, what you need to be mindful. And of course, positivity, a positive attitude, like you said, helps to create a good impression to the employer. And employers really value candidates who can adjust. That is adaptability, basically, who can adjust to change, learn quickly, and stay effective in very uncertain situations, like especially when you come and settle down in a different country, starting from zero. I mean, you don't have to like get that trained. You like get it trained on the job, like from the day you start, you know, like living a new life. But then when it comes to interviews and job, it's very different, adaptability. So in an interview, you can show adaptability by sharing examples of how you adjusted into new tasks, systems, and workplace changes once you come into a different country, right? So adaptability, the answers that you give to the employer or the recruiter, you have to always give with examples, and that would really make sense. And it would give them like a sense of satisfaction. Okay, this person has really adapted to different situations without just giving like a generic answer. And of course, teamwork. Employers value candidates who can adjust to change and who wants to listen to others, like not only believing in your own opinion. And you can give examples of times you worked well with others, times you contributed to group goals or resolved team conflicts, or demonstrating like how you can thrive in a team environment, basically. And especially in this country, there are so many instances where you will have to work with diverse kinds of groups of people who believe in different things. It can be religion, it can be culture, it can be ethnicity, it can be color. You know, there's so much to think when it comes to teamwork. You have to be very mindful when you're presenting yourself. It may not be something that you will get offended, but somebody else may be offended to what you say. So it's very important to know. And finally, culture fit. So beyond technical skills, like I said before, employers want to know whether you'll align to their own values or ethos, the working style, the culture, and everything. So showing that you understand the company's mission, values, and environment, and demonstrating that your personality and your approach matches that is very important. Maybe you're not coming from the same culture, but showing that you're adaptable to that culture is very important. So yeah, I think I've covered everything.
Yeah, that's a very descriptive answer. And I want to add a few things Yeah, as Tejan, we mentioned, I conduct a lot of interviews as well for different roles, right? So for our own company ones, and also if there are any specific roles like cargo roles, I always interview them. After their mock interviews, I do interview them. And, active listening plays a major role there. So we always judge most of the candidates from the questions that they ask back from us. And sometimes you might not have questions, that's understandable, but there are areas that we leave some questions for you to ask and then ask you, conduct the interview. Because obviously, if we are doing preparations, what we do is we leave an area out for you to judge and ask us back, right? So if you do not come back to us with those areas, then we understand that you have not been listening to us actively. So those are the areas that we get you to work on. So, with our feedback, we tell you, okay, we left these areas behind, or we just, did omit these areas because we wanted you to ask those questions from us, but you totally missed out. So these are the areas that most of the employers, focus on. And when it comes to teamwork, most of the times when we do interviews, we get you to tell us a scenario where you had to work with a team, and how you had to do that, or what did you do. So when it comes to these scenario questions, most of the times nothing comes to your head. For some, nothing comes to your head because you might have not gone through that situation. But it doesn't really matter. What you can do is, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be necessarily at work. You might have had plenty of friends where you had to go through that situation. So what you got to do is, this is where critical thinking comes into play, right? You got to think about a situation where, okay, you have been growing up with your friends for what, if you're 20, at least for 20 years, right? From that, at least for about 5 good years, you have been with your friends, even if you're 20, right? So you got to try and relate these situations at least to your friends. If you haven't got much work experience, you got to relate it to somewhere. So then it shows, okay, what actually recruiters or the employers are looking at is not a prime example of that. They need to see that you have an initiative. Okay, you have this initiative. You can just quickly relate this to somewhere, right? That is what they're looking for. Because when it comes to job roles, it's not just you're going to buy out everything in the book and go and write an exam. That's not what they expect, right? So this is why we got to make sure that we got to be practical about things that we say. So you should be able to be prepared for that. You should be able to actively listen to do that, right? Critical thinking, initiatives, all these things comes with practice, right? If you, most of you guys know about cricket. So when you're playing cricket, if a ball a bouncer, if it come towards your head, you either duck and you play a shot. So you have only a few seconds to think about it. If you haven't practiced, you wouldn't be able to play that. It might come and just take your helmet or your head, right? So this is why we got to practice. These are the little things that you got to work on. And you got to always be ready for these scenario-based questions, because those things tell a story about yourself, because that is something you got to quickly think about and answer, right? So work on we help you to work on those little things as well, right? And I have a few more things to add. Tejavi, what we can do is we can start taking questions from now, right?
Okay. Yeah.
What do you think? Shall we take questions from here?
Yeah.
And let's take questions. And also, there are areas that we need to discuss as well. There's one more thing I want to, discuss before we go into questions, about gaps in your CVs. Okay. So there are some, it's a common thing that when you move on to a country like this, until you get settled, you might have to do an odd job, right? You might have to go and work at a food factory, a warehouse, or a clothing factory, or somewhere. You might work there for about good 6 months, 1 year, right? And after, suddenly you might have to start applying for jobs. You might have to start applying for engineering jobs, IT jobs, or something related to your field.
Yeah.
But what you were doing during that year matters quite a lot, right?
Yes.
So right, we are back, Teja. We are very sorry, guys, about the interruption. There's been a network issue, so we had to just do a little adjustment. I think we are good now to go ahead. I think even though there was a network issue, we were audible, I think, right? Yeah. 1 second. Right. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, about going back to the question that we were answering. So about having a gap.
Employment gaps. Yeah. So,
employment gap. So let's discuss that from the beginning. I think some might have missed that.
yeah. So what I was talking about is how would you present an employment gap effectively in an interview or maybe in your CV? So the first thing is like it's okay for you to have a employment gap. It's not the end of the world basically, but then you have to be honest but brief, and then it has to be focused on a positive note, right? So what I mean by positive is like you have to tell how you have used your time to develop your skills, like you said, like doing CPDs, maybe qualifications or short courses that you can complete relevant to where you want to go after the gap, right? And also when you're explaining why you took a break, it can be due to further studies, it can be due to family responsibilities, health concerns, or maybe due to relocation. So if you can effectively explain that reasonably, that's not going to be a problem. But then it's good if you can upskill yourself, or if you have done any freelance work during that employment gap, or if you have volunteered. These are the things that you can actually talk about during the gap, what you have done. Okay. And you can say, now I'm fully ready to return to work and I'm excited to bring my skills, like that's how you can tackle those kind of questions. And one thing I wanted to mention is that you don't have to be a British citizen or having your indefinite leave to remain status to sometimes upskill yourself, because there is something called free courses in England. I have always told my clients about this when I was doing career coaching. So what they do is that if you've been in the country for 3 years, even though you're an immigrant, if you have been a resident in the UK for like minimum of 3 years, you are eligible for certain government funded courses. CPDs, it can be level 2, level 3, level 4, sometimes even level 5. So if you want to get into those qualifications, you can actually do. So I normally give them how to get into that path. I guide them, my clients. So those are the things that you can actually do while you're doing another part-time job, or maybe you're working in a company or a shop which is completely irrelevant to what you want to do, but you can still make use of those opportunities as well.
Yeah. And when it comes to level 2s and 3s, they are widely available. When it comes to CPDs, there are plenty of level 2s and 3s that they can easily get done.
Yeah.
So that is definitely going to be helpful for them, right? And also, there are some common questions that we have got 2 questions on Facebook on YouTube. We can ask them in a minute. And guys, if you have any questions, just type them on Facebook or YouTube, so then we can take them on. We'll be taking all those questions in a minute. Right. So there's one question from Fazmina. Right, remaining in current visa, is it possible for me to switch and obtain a visa as well? As soon as many jobs are removed by UK government, what possible pathways for someone with dependents? Right, I think I'll answer that question. So Fazmina, to answer to that question, I think it's best if you contact us, so then we can go through your CV and we can see what your qualifications are, right? What's your status at the moment with your job, what sort of a designation you have, So we can definitely help you with that. And also when it comes to switching, if you have already been on a work permit, then the new rules do not apply to you. So you can still switch with the jobs which are on temporary shortage list. Those jobs are still there until 2026 December, right? You can still switch with your family with those job codes, and you don't have to worry about that. But the job roles salary ranges might differ according to the new rules, right? That's the only thing. But when it comes to job codes, there'll be plenty available for you. But if it's someone new who's switching with a job code which is on shortage, occupation list, then you might have to be on switch as a single applicant, right? And anything else, what you can do is you can speak to us, and then if it is related to immigration inquiries, then we will, help you to consult a solicitor. And if it is something that we can help you with, we will certainly, help you out with that. But in order to do that, it's best to speak to us, so then we can get the full picture and then help you out. Okay. Right. Thank you. And let's move on to Rivindu. Rivindu, right. Is there any issues if you use AI platforms to customize the content for our CVs? Tejanvi, over to you. So is there any issues if you use AI platforms to customize the content for our CVs?
Okay, so I think we've touched those points as well before. The only thing is, like, if you're using AI, I mean, you can use, but then the thing is, it doesn't give a precise explanation to your CV if you use AI platforms, because it becomes very generic. No matter how the prompt you give, it becomes very generic. The answer you get on an like specifically if you take ChatGPT, if you put something onto ChatGPT, the answer is always generic, but it doesn't really showcase your true story or what you really need to present. So I mean, if it's okay, but then it doesn't really give the 100% explanation a recruiter would want to see in your CV. But if you really want like a generic answer, AI is fine. But sometimes if you want to optimize the CV or in your LinkedIn profile, it might not work.
Right. Okay. So, but what if they use AI, quite confidently, and if they can still get the right answer out of it by just using AI? Would that be an issue for them?
Sometimes it depends on the ATS as well. Some of the ATSs that we use, it captures AI as well. Sometimes it doesn't have this, like the same setting might not be used in all the ATSs that we use, but I have used certain applicant tracking systems where it like highlights in red whatever you copy and paste from. It's just like how you do assignments when you were a student back. If something is highlighted on Turnitin or whatever the platform you use, plagiarism is affected, right? So that's how AI has become now. So I don't think we should take that risk, especially when you're looking for a job.
Yeah, that is the answer I was expecting, because obviously we have had situations like that. So that's why I specifically asked that as well.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I think we have one more question from Haruki. When building our LinkedIn profiles, is it better to keep the experience section short and to the point, or should we write a more detailed description?
Okay, so in LinkedIn, specifically in that experience section, it's okay for you to make it a little bit descriptive. It's fine. But the important fact is that no matter how long it is, if you don't have the right keywords, it's not optimized. Sometimes it can be just 5 or 6 lines, but still optimized. But sometimes it can be like 1,000 words, but still not optimized. So it's basically the keywords that you need to focus on, but it doesn't matter. Like you can make it a little bit longer, but not like a CV, I'd say. But that's why I said like LinkedIn is completely different from how you write a CV. whatever you have in your CV cannot be completely copied and pasted to a LinkedIn profile. So it has to be summarized, but the most important and the key factor is your keywords.
Great. 𝐼𝐸𝐸𝐻𝐸, I think you got the answer you expected. Right. And I have a few more common questions that I want to ask as well. So some people ask whether they should include their hobbies in their CV. What do you have to say about that?
Sometimes it depends on the level that you apply as well. Let's say you're applying for a managerial level position. I don't think hobbies matter that much, but if you're looking for an entry-level job, yes, it can be relevant, but only if it is basically relevant for the job that you're applying for. Let's say if you have done sports and if it is something to do with teamwork, if you're applying for a job which has to be worked on a team, then obviously yes. And if you're doing a job with regards to content writing, and if you're very passionate about creative writing, so yes, that's relevant. So yes, you can have your hobbies in the CV, but only if they're relevant or highlight any kind of transferable skills that you have. But if not, I don't think you should have any generic or personal hobbies that don't really add value to your profile. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the judgmental calls that they have to make when they're creating their CVs, isn't it? So these are the areas that they go to focus on. These are the areas that they need expertise, advice, especially if you're applying for a professional job. You shouldn't take the risk in situations like that. Always seek help, always seek advice, always get that, and then it will help you to go far, right? Okay. So about employment gaps, we have already discussed. And do recruiters actually read cover letters? That is also one of the questions that most commonly been asked from us. So let's explain that to the audience as well.
Yeah. So cover letters, sometimes when you apply for a job, a cover letter is a mandatory field that you need to upload your cover letter mandatorily. So in that case, obviously cover letters are very important, but sometimes it's not a mandatory thing to upload your cover letter into the application or the applicant tracking system, but many recruiters skim through the CVs first. However, a strong cover letter can definitely help you to stand out from the crowd, especially for roles where writing, motivation, or cultural fit matter a lot. Definitely a cover letter would add a lot of value to your profile. Now, sometimes let's say your CV is very short, one page, but then in your cover letter, you can express yourself a little bit more. What is your purpose, your experience specifically to the role that you're applying for? In that kind of a situation, a cover letter is very important and would add a lot of value. Yes.
Yeah, that's a perfect answer. Yeah. That is also one of the common areas that we have helped with plenty of candidates with professional jobs, isn't it, 𝐻𝐸𝐸𝐻𝐸𝐸𝐻𝐸? Because I mean, we actually launched this program about a couple of weeks ago, and we have had plenty of good feedback, and then we have helped out plenty of candidates as well. So if you're looking to ask these questions, if you have missed this chance to ask your questions, what you can do is you can just call us for a review, and then we can maybe do a 5-10 minutes call with you, and then go through these questions, and then we can take it on from there, right? And there's one more question I want to ask as well, 𝐻𝐸𝐸𝐻𝐸𝐸, and most of the candidates ask about this as well. Is it worth to have LinkedIn Premium? That is something most of the candidates ask because they don't want to spend on something that it wouldn't really work for them.
Yeah. So I'd say even if you're actively job hunting, a well-optimized free profile is more than enough. because if you're not using LinkedIn as a part of your job, now, for example, I'm using LinkedIn as a part of my job role on a day-to-day basis to find candidates, to speak to other suppliers, agencies, like to partner with other companies. If you have that kind of a purpose, yes, LinkedIn Premium is definitely a plus point. But if you have a well-optimized LinkedIn profile and your only motive is to find a job, a free profile is well enough. But it also can be depending on your situation. Sometimes Premium helps with job insights and you can see who exactly viewed your profile. And if you want to reach out to recruiters who are not in your connection list, you can use the email setting where you can reach out to any recruiter, regardless of whether those recruiters are in your connection list or not. It's just like Facebook. If you're not a friend of that person, you can't message on Messenger. It's something similar to that. So it's most useful if you're actively job hunting, networking, or if you want to change your careers. But if it is not affordable to you on a monthly basis to pay that amount of money for a premium account, I would recommend well optimize your LinkedIn profile, and that would be enough for the time. Yeah.
Right. So, so 𝐻𝐸𝐿, let me ask you about this way. So, if you can provide one golden piece of advice, right, to someone who's creating a CV just now or after listening to our conversation, what would that be?
Okay. So the first thing that you need to be mindful is about your focus. What do you need? Like where you want to see yourself? Is it in what is the industry you want to be? In what level? In what location? So that is what you need to clarify first with yourself. Because if your mind is all over the place and you want to apply for different jobs and you're using the same CV, that is not going to work. That is the first thing. And then the other thing is, like I said, if you are trying to start a career in the UK where you do not have any experience within the UK, the same CV that you use back in your home country won't really apply here. So you need to tailor your CV based on the level that you're applying for, regardless of how many years of experience you have and what you have done, how many members of staff you have handled and managed. That all matters when you answer your questions in the interview, but your CV has to look as if you're applying for a mid-level or like an entry-level job opportunity. So I think the golden piece of advice for me is to know where you're going. And then based on that, you have to focus on how to write the CV. Maybe, for example, in case of my experience, I have had a period where I've had like 10, 15 versions of my CV based on what I need to apply. If I wanted to apply for McDonald's or KFC, my CV is not focused on HR manager. It was complete different version. So like I had a period of time where I used my CV in different versions to apply for different jobs. So that is what I have to say.
Yeah, that's perfect. And if someone's listening to us feels stuck right now, what would be the first step, I would say, 𝐻𝐸𝐿?
Okay, so if you're still confused on what you want to do, I think that is where we can step in and help. Yeah. Now, specifically because of these immigration rules and everything, you also need to make sure that you choose a career path where you can be sponsored at one point in your career. Sometimes you may like a certain job or a certain industry where the UK job market is not really demanding, So like with all those facts in your mind, the first step is to see, like, is it just that you want to do a job or you want to earn some monthly income, or is it your purpose that you want to get into a sponsored job? it depends on the purpose. So first thing you need to understand is the job hunting that you're doing, is it for the sake of any purpose, as if like you want to get into a visa, like a skilled worker visa or something like that, or if you really want to like follow your passion, just doing a job, So once you clarify that, then it's easy for us to guide you for the right pathway, to guide you to do certain qualifications if you're not aware of what to do and how to start. So that is the stepping stone. And then if you reach out to us, we are definitely happy to help.
Yeah, definitely. If you have any questions, and if you, as I said, if you have missed this, and we can provide a free review on what you got to do, right? So you can call us. We could probably get engaged for about 5-10 minutes, and then discuss on the areas that you got to work on, and we can start from there. And the other thing is, most of the times you might have gone wrong on your CVs or LinkedIn profiles without even you getting it or understanding it, or you might have completely missed that. So if you have issues like that, you can always talk to us, and then we can see what we can do for you. And the other thing is, when it comes to speaking to us, if you want, you can speak to us in Sinhala, English, or even in Tamil. We got candidates who speak all 3 languages as well, right? And if you're local, and if you want to obviously help with a professional job or a job that you have in your mind, or if you want a career change, we can help you with that as well, right? So just give us a call, and we'll take it on from there. And the other thing is, always make sure that whatever you do that with confidence. And sometimes when you come into the country, you might have to do jobs that you don't really like, but don't lose hope. Don't think that you can't get things done over here. When you can't get things done over here, don't try to, kill yourself thinking that you're not worth doing it. As we mentioned, there could be issues in your CVs, LinkedIn profiles. So this is why we are here to help. Sometimes you may struggle thinking that you have done something wrong from your side, right? And when you face interviews, you might have about 10, 15 years experience in back home, but the way you answer those questions and the impression that the recruiters or the employers get over here could be different, because Sri Lankan or the Asian or any other backgrounds could be completely different from the UK background. Even when I interview some candidates, I've directly asked them, okay, so you're talking to me with your experience in back home, right? So I totally get it, but it doesn't really help us to get things done over here. So sometimes most of the recruiters or employees wouldn't say that to you, because they might feel like they might go against your beliefs, or they wouldn't know what you would think, right? I mean, if we are from the same background, we should be able to say that to you, because we know how you think, right? Most of the times, if you're from the same background. But for them, they might just get your profile rejected, and you wouldn't even know why it is. Right, you would keep on killing yourself, asking for reasons why it's been rejected. So this is where we come and help you guys out to get things done better, right? And if you go on our website, we might have put our links in the comments here, so you will be able to see the packages from basic to, there are 5 packages that you can work on, and from basic to I think pro. I think pro is the last one. Basic, intermediate, likewise. I'm very sorry, I can't remember the names, but there are 5 packages, along with the career switch package as well. There's a golden package for career switch, right? So you can go on our website, and there's an area called professional development program, right? You can go on that, and then professional edge program, PEP, right? It's also, if you want to get a professional edge, that is the program for you. As I said, there's a starter where you can get your basic CV and your LinkedIn profile, basic CV and cover letter done. And then there's an essential program, then advanced, pro, and elite career program, right? So there are packages for different prices. You can look into it, and then if there's anything that you want to discuss about, you can speak to us. And then there's a career switch package as well, as you said. So we are trying to do our best from our side to help everyone out to secure a dream job that you have, or to get back to the same career that you have been following in back home. And don't get disheartened. And we know plenty of candidates who have been here for about maybe 1 or 2 years, and they are working at good banks over here. They have reached out to good jobs. That's through their optimized LinkedIn profiles, CVs, and with their career coaching programs, right? So sometimes you might have to invest some time and some money on things that you want to improve. And also, there's one more thing I want to add as well. Probably within next month, we will be starting construction and hospitality training programs as well. That will be definitely complete program where we will be getting yourselves ready to get into the UK job market through hospitality and construction. So when it comes to construction, there would be jobs training programs for engineers and also laborers, and could be for electricians. Those will be specific programs, and we will do another live if you want to have more information, or we will do a video explaining how it works. And when it comes to hospitality also, we will have for waiters, counter service, professional chefs, for all of you guys, and maybe even for front office staff and back office. Likewise, we will have different programs for each and every one. We will do a proper launch on that once we have all the information ready to go on the website. Okay, so right. So 𝐻𝐫𝐿, is there anything else that you want to add before we conclude?
Yeah, so one final thing, I just need to let everyone know that, maybe you've tried a million times, 100 times, applying for jobs and you don't get calls. And that's where you need to understand that you may need that professional support. If there is a will, there's always a way to find what you want, and you have to fight for that. So that's why we are there to help professionally with all our experience and expertise. So if you think you need that support, we are here to help. So you can reach out, and then we are definitely there to help you all. Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. Well, then, 𝐻𝐫𝐿, I'm pretty sure that you have been a massive help to our candidates, and we are helping you to find that edge. That is why we have, named this program as a professional edge program, right? So this is where we help you to find that edge that would help you to secure a professional job in the UK. Right, guys, then thank you very much for joining with us. And then if you have any questions that you might have not asked, you can call us. And then if you want to book an interview with us, you can do it via the team as well. We will help you out, and then let's take it on from there. So thank you very much, guys. Then have a good night. Thanks for joining, Ken. Thank you. Bye. Cheers.